Welcome everyone to the No DQ live predictions video for NXT Takeover in your house. I am being joined by Team No DQ. Let me start off with our longtime contributor, one of my closest friends, good old JM, Jeff Meacham. Jeff, how are you doing today, and how excited are you for this NXT Takeover?
I've been pulled from my seclusion after one day. You tell me. No, I'm looking forward to getting home this weekend and actually watching this show. I'm mildly intrigued by it.
All right. Well, TJS, how are you feeling about this show? This is an interesting NXT takeover. This will be the first takeover without your regular WWE audience. I'm sure we'll have the PC trainees there in attendance. What are your thoughts on this show? Does that make you any less excited for the pay-per-view?
Yes, actually, because man, this era of wrestling without a crowd has just been so lackluster. I know that they're doing what they can, but you just can't substitute an audience, I don't think. And I know that they've tried, but the WWE PC recruits just feel so robotic to me. Either way, like I said, they're trying, and I think the show will deliver for the most part. I really wish that it was in an arena with 13,000 screaming fans instead of just like 13 screaming fans, because I believe it'll be a high quality show. Noah, what do you think, man? Are you excited for this show?
It's going to be the most organic feeling takeover we've had since Portland. So I am very excited and very invested in a couple of these matches, from the story they're telling and the showcase it's sure to bring. And I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So I'm pretty excited for it. I feel like it will still be a solid show. And I'm glad they have the PC trainees there to add some kind of soundtrack to the show. The matches, I think, will be great for the most part, as usual. The takeovers always deliver, and I think that despite the circumstances, WWE will still put on a memorable NXT takeover. Let's go ahead and break down the matches. We got 5 matches set up for this show. The first match that we'll be talking about, and by the way, Caleb Jacobs just sent in an $11.54 super chat. He says, NXT is so much better than the main roster with or without an audience. And he says, hello, Noah.
Hi, Caleb.
All right, I agree with that, Caleb. I mean, I think NXT, they pretty much have a guarantee to put on a memorable show for us. It just seems to be a given that NXT will deliver. But let's go ahead and get started with our predictions for the card. The first match we have is a singles match between Finn Balor and Damien Priest. Finn Balor, of course, the veteran of NXT. Damien Priest, the rising star. Colin Andrew just sent in a $5 super chat, says, sorry I could not join in tonight. You cannot go live while holding an upset baby, LOL. I hear you, Colin. It's all good, man. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, El Dandy is a better wrestler than Jackson Riker. Well, Jackson Riker is no longer in NXT, so we will not be talking about him. But let's go ahead and talk about this NXT match. TJS, we'll start with you. Finn Balor, he's been around for a while, and some would argue that NXT has given him a new lease on life. But on the other hand, Damien Priest is this rising star, so what do you think is going to happen in this match, and what do you see happening for both of these guys moving forward?
Man, I know this may be unpopular, but I have not. So Finn Balor he turned heel, and then I was like, oh, this is going to be good stuff. And then I feel like he's just turned back into a baby face, but he's just not smiling anymore. It's still the same Finn Balor, I feel like, except now he uses insider terms like push and squash because he's cool. I don't know. I don't really care for Damien Priest either. I just feel like he's not. He tries to be the old Baron Corbin, and it's just not working for me. I like his entrance, but that's where it stops for me. This is probably the match on the card that I care about the least. But if I had to pick a winner, I would say that it's going to be Finn, just because Priest did lay him out, and I didn't even really like where the mystery attacker angle went. That was kind of lame too. I wanted it to be basically anyone else but Damien Priest, but that's how it is. Either way, I still expect Finn to pick up the victory. Jeff, what do you think, man?
I'm not sure Jeff heard you. Jeff, can you hear us?
I can now. Yeah, I was trying to get a message to your better half, and I'm having severe signal trouble.
Okay, well, your thoughts on Damien Priest and Finn Balor?
Well, I heard Noah mention that the mystery attacker thing was a letdown. I gotta agree with that. I mean, I figured they would, A, prolong it, and B, make it a little bit more impactful. Than I'm not knocking Damien Priest whatsoever. Let me state that because I love Damien Priest. I always like punishment. He's a great guy, but I feel they could have gone a lot farther with it, and I feel they could have done more with the angle overall, right? So it was a bit of a letdown when it was revealed. I get the need to increase speed of storyline in this craziness we live in right now, but there's still room for epic storytelling in the confines of smaller time frames. Having said that, I do agree that Finn is still going to win. If for no other reason, then you get your 50-50 booking. Priest laid him out, so Finn's got to get his mojo back. So,
all right, Noah Foster, what do you think?
I feel like Damien Priest is just buying his time until he's pushed towards Raw or SmackDown because he really has not gathered no momentum or big wins at all this year. He's had 2 opportunities to go after the North American Championship. He had a #1 contenders match to go after the NXT Championship. Lost. And now Finn Balor, who's got a little momentum, being planned to go after Walter for the next UK Championship in long-term booking I see. I don't see them stopping Finn Balor's momentum right now. And honestly, if Damien Priest wins this, what's he going to go after? He's got no, real backlog to say, I deserve a title shot. I got to go with Finn Balor on this one.
All right, and I think I'm going to agree with you on that one. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, what makes Damien Priest different from King Corbin? Well, Damien Priest does not have a crown on his head, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, he definitely has a similar build to him, I guess you could say. He's tall. He kind of has that heel demeanor. I get the comparison. As far as what I think is going to happen in this match, Finn Balor, I almost feel like he has got lost in the shuffle in NXT. I figured when Balor was going to be going to NXT again, he would be at the top competing for the championship. So I think you got to go with Finn because if Finn starts losing matches now, what do you do with the guy? He was on the main roster and not doing much, and now he's in NXT. So he's got to be one of the top guys in NXT. And I want to see Balor go for the championship at some point, the main one. So I'm going to go with Finn Balor. As much as Priest needs some momentum, he hasn't really been established as much as Finn Balor, even in recent times. I mean, he's starting to move up in the ranks, but yeah, I think I got to go with Balor on this one. It just isn't Priest's time. Maybe on a different pay-per-view. Right now, I think you got to go with Finn Balor. So that's our first matchup. We'll move on here to the second match on our lineup, which is for the North American Championship. Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano. I'll go ahead and start with this one. I feel like with Gargano's recent change in demeanor and with Candice LeRae by his side, it seems like he's really building up a new wave of momentum in NXT. And keep in mind, he did beat Tommaso Ciampa, and he seems to be the guy right now. And as far as Keith Lee goes, I agree about Keith Lee being a top guy, not just in NXT, but on the main roster. But I think that's the thing. I think it's time for him to go to the main roster, start preparing for him to go to the main roster. And thus, I feel like it's time for Lee to drop the title and have Gargano be the North American champion. So, gotta go with Gargano to win the championship. Jeff, let's start with you on this one. North American Championship. Your thoughts, Jeff?
Yeah, I'll have to say, first of all, I was going to elaborate. I got distracted. I apologize. I, first of all, love that Candice has finally turned heel with Johnny. I think Aaron and I can relate in particular how long we were wondering how long it was going to take for Candice to do something as a heel, because she was always the picked on babyface damsel, right? And it took Joey Ryan and the Young Bucks to beat the blood out of her to get her out of her shell. And it was an amazing moment when it happened, let's be honest, but it was cool to see her go to the dark side. The momentum is with Jonny. You know, he's, as much as we keep saying, the heel back and forth stuff is stale with Jonny, I like the new Jonny and Candice. And I think that they're going to go with Jonny regaining the North American Championship and really stepping out and really making that championship the championship to watch. Because we all love the Undisputed in this group in particular, I know. But Adam Cole's reign is it is what it is. Jonny needs to take the North American title and really skyrocket with it. And I think he can. And I think he will.
Yeah, and plus, even if Keith Lee does stay in NXT, I really don't think he needs the title. I think Gargano could, make it like the NXT version of the Intercontinental title, make it like a workhorse championship. Not that Keith Lee isn't great or anything, but Gargano could. I think he would be a good fit for the title. That's just my opinion on it. TGS, what do you think?
So I think that when WWE goes in on these heel turns fully, when they fully invest, like they have with Gargano, they're giving him new music, new entrance graphics, new T-shirts, everything like that. That's when I get faith in these heel turns. For example, Balor kept the same theme, but we see Gargano's completely different from what he was, and I've really enjoyed it. That being said, we haven't had too many lengthy North American title reigns. So if I had to say, I would say that I think Lee is going to retain the championship here. Actually, I think Lee is going to retain the championship because I don't see him losing it so soon. And yeah, I just think that it would be more fitting for Keith Lee to win, and then later on down the road, these guys can have another match. I could see this match ending dirty. Maybe have Mia Yim and Candice LeRae get involved. But at the end of the day, I think that Lee will retain. Noah?
Wait, before Noah goes, chat room. Who is Jeff Meacham on the phone with? Wrong answers only. Wrong answers only. Noah, go ahead.
I feel like he's on the phone with Mia Yim warning him that your boy Keith Lee is about to lose the title to Johnny Gargano.
Oh.
Johnny Gargano is going to use the Johnny Gargano way to become the North American champion for the second time and take it into a long, lengthy reign. Especially since he opened up this Johnny Gargano Invitational, he could use this title as a platform to maybe groom more NXT talent, not to mention make this title feel more noteworthy. There's been a short number of champions with this title that really have not elevated to a new level. Velveteen Dream, Keith Lee, Ricochet, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and he literally had one-day reign. So with this new heel character behind him, I gotta imagine this is the plan for Johnny Gargano for now in NXT. I see bigger things for Keith Lee. He's done enough with this title. Johnny Gargano is winning.
Wow. So it's just me going with Lee then, huh?
Interesting.
Yep.
All right. We'll see.
Is this the worst show I've ever done or what? This is awful. I'm sorry, y'all.
Hey, it made for some good entertainment here. Hey, we're only 2 matches in, Jeff, so you got time to turn this thing around. No more pizza orders.
It ain't getting no better.
All right, Keith Johnson with a $2 super chat. I'm having fun here. He says, Gargano doesn't come across as a natural heel, in my opinion. Well, I mean, Gargano, I get what you're saying. He has that underdog vibe to him, but I think he's doing all right. And I think him and Candice as a heel duo, I think that's adding to the heel act. I think before I was having a little bit of trouble buying into it, but now with Candice, I think it's bringing out the best in both of them as far as heel characters go, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He got that whole middleman syndrome where he feels he has to fight from beneath, and that's one thing, but he's really tapped into the cocky ass side of himself. And like you said, Aaron, Candice has brought it out of him and brought it out of herself, which I touched on earlier. Heel is grossly untapped.
Yeah, I agree on that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next match, which is a singles match, one I'm very intrigued about. We have Tommaso Ciampa versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett in his corner. This is Kross's first NXT takeover, his biggest match to date in his career, I would say. I mean, way bigger than anything in TNA. This is a huge deal to debut your first big match on an NXT takeover against Tommaso Ciampa. Noah, let's start with you on this one. This is going to be a really interesting match to see who goes over here. Could you potentially see some kind of screwy finish, like a DQ or count out? If there is a clean win, who do you think is going to be the victor? What are your thoughts?
When it comes to NXT and who they invest in to be that next big superstar, Karrion Kross right now is the guy. He's got a Clone Orange custom entrance. He's got the greatest entrance going in NXT right now. They're putting everything into him, despite the fact he's only been in a couple of squash matches, less than 3 minutes. Now he's going up against one of the most violent and psychological people in NXT, and Tommaso Ciampa. If they really are going to push Karrion Kross, Killer Kross to the moon, he's got to pick up this win here. It's going to be, honestly, my favorite match probably of the night and the one that I've been the most invested in, despite its short build. But I got to go with the fact that Scarlett's also in his corner, and I don't know what she's capable of. I got to go with Karrion Kross for the win here. But I have a feeling that this will not be the end of the feud with these two.
Yeah, we could very well see some interference from Scarlett. That would not surprise me if she's the factor in this match. But I think I got to go with Kross as well. I think he has to win this one. This is his first big match. You got to keep the momentum going. Caleb Jacobs sent in a $7 super chat, says, Gargano is a natural good guy, and he says, hello, everyone. Hello, Caleb.
Hello, Caleb.
So, yeah, I'm going with Kross to win this one. I see him picking up the win by hook or by crook, maybe interference, maybe not. I still think Ciampa should go to the main roster, but I know he doesn't really want to do that. He prefers being in NXT, so we'll see. But, yeah, I would have to go with Kross for sure on this one. TJS, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. First, I just wanted to ask, how do you guys feel about the name Karrion Kross? You guys like it? Because I don't. Just call him Kross. That even sounds better than Karrion Kross, in my opinion. Either way, I've really enjoyed what they're doing with Karrion Kross. I like the squash matches, actually. They're pretty intriguing to me. I really enjoy the entrance. My question is, how long does this entrance have a shelf life? Because we know what happens on the main roster. Look at Bobby Roode. Look at Shinsuke Nakamura. These guys had epic entrances. And, wow, I don't remember the last time we saw Bobby Roode on TV, and Nakamura is doing nothing. So enjoy the time in NXT while you can, Karrion. I think he's going to pick up the win here against Ciampa. I would say that it would be a short match, but since it's only 5 matches on the card, I think it'll get a good amount of time, and that Karrion will, in fact, pick up the win. Jeff, what do you think?
Well, first of all, we all know my affinity for Scarlett because I made Scarlett the official banner of Aftermatch Wrestling. So, Lordy. I disagree that it will be a short match. Whoever, I think somebody said that. It needs to be long because, A, there's only 5 matches, like you said, Tyler. B, we need to see serious brutality out of both him and Tommaso. We need to see a full-on knockdown brawl, not quite through the PC like we've seen in other feuds recently, but it needs to be a prolonged beatdown from both sides. Scarlett will be the deciding factor, or at least a huge factor, and Kross will.
All right, Keith Johnson sent in a $2 super chat. Says Kross and Ciampa come across as mirror images to him. Yeah, they both kind of have like the bald guy mean look. So,
did you say the bald guy mean look?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Okay. No, I see it, man. They both kind of play devil characters. I guess Ciampa, when he was a heel, was sort of like a devil.
Yeah, I mean, I get the comparisons. They both have that same kind of mean looking face that they do.
I'm always so fascinated by the people's need to compare two people. Why can't Kross just be Kross and Ciampa just be Ciampa, and F shall meet in the end, and whoever wins wins? Why does Steve Austin have to look like Goldberg? Why does look like this? Like, why? Just fucking fight. Who cares?
Thank you, Jeff. I'm all about individuality. Why try and recreate something of the past? This is the future, right? So you want something fresh and new.
Yeah, it's like if you want clones of Ciampa in your roster, go put on WWE 2K20. There's enough glitches on there where it might happen.
There you go. All right, now we move on here to the NXT Women's Championship match. Triple threat. Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley, the former champion, and Io Shirai. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Jeff, I think we'll start with you on this one. I'm sick of Charlotte being on all three shows. Like, I like her and all, but it's becoming overkill. And quite frankly, I just want to see her drop the title so she can go back to Raw or SmackDown. What are your thoughts on this match being a triple threat? Because, of course, as we all know, the title can change hands without the champion losing. So if there was a time for Charlotte to lose without being pinned or submitted, this would be the one. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, there's a few layers of the onion here, so bear with me. As it is with me, always the way with me. I feel that Rhea only lost the title at Mania because of what we heard was a rumored work visa situation. So I think the point all along was to give Rhea that rub and the victory over Charlotte. And when the work visa thing allegedly came up, it got messed up. So I think they're going to put the title back on Rhea by having her defeat Charlotte here in this match. I think that was their intention all along, was to give, because they have definitely seen the need to strap the rocket ship to Rhea and propel her to the moon and back, because she's that good and she's that young, nothing but upside. It'll be a great match. You got people here are really, really good. And yes, as much as I love Charlotte Flair, I am so sick of 3 days a week. So she needs to lose the title, and it will be to Rhea, and she will take the ball.
All right, Noah Foster, what do you think?
Geez. I will say this. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair was probably my second most favorite match of WrestleMania. And it's clear that Rhea Ripley, she is bound to go to Raw or SmackDown because they've invested so much in her. Charlotte Flair, she's done everything possible that she could do in WWE except beat her father's number of titles, which clearly I see happening. Time for a fresh change, and I've been waiting for this for a long time. And with this new character development with Candice LeRae, I honestly see them recreating this feud, and it starts here somehow. And I'm going to go wild and just simply say that Io Shirai finally wins, because at one point, Io Shirai, it was questionable whether or not she was going to stay with NXT, because one, she misses her husband, Evil from NXTW, and two, Stardom wants her back. Now, whether or not that's still the case, or she said, no, I'm fine with NXT, that's still up in the air. But I feel like going forward, it's going to be Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai in the top picture with Io as champion. Charlotte's done enough as she could with NXT. Io Shirai is my pick.
Interesting. Now, see, I think Io's just in this match to take the fall. I think Rhea Ripley is going to pin Io. That way Charlotte loses the title without being pinned. She goes back to Raw, and she'll start being built up for Asuka, and they'll keep that feud going. I agree with Virtue in the chat room. I mean, Charlotte is too big for NXT. Like, she should be on Raw. I see her dropping the title, and then Rhea Ripley moves on to maybe face Candice LeRae at the next takeover. I could see that being a possibility. What do you think, TJS?
Oh man, I just what was the point of Charlotte winning the NXT title, man? No one gained anything from this. Unless there's a huge payoff here, I feel like this project was a complete failure. I love Charlotte. She is one of the greatest of all time, if not the. But man, I really don't think they should have taken the title off Rhea. Either way, I agree with Noah. I think Io is going to win the championship, and I think that Rhea is main roster bound, and then Charlotte will also go back up to Raw. They need some more women on SmackDown. Bayley needs a strong challenger, and since the SummerSlam match with Sasha's up in the air, I think Rhea Ripley would be a good pick to challenge Bayley. So, yeah, I think Io's winning the title. Rhea's going to SmackDown. Charlotte's going back to Raw, and that'll be that.
Jeff's got a point.
Why is the bank match with Bayley up in the air? Did I miss something?
Well, I feel like if they were going to do it, they should have done it, in front of a crowd. So I figure they might save it since they're may not be able to be in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Your word you said, Tyler. I'm sorry, I went completely blank on it. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Oh yeah, no worries. I was just saying, since they may not be able to make it to Boston, they may hold off on the Bayley Sasha match since it won't be in front of a crowd possibly.
Well, no, but you still want to execute that particular trigger and have Sasha win, and even if it's the PC crowd, it'll still be a huge pop if Sasha wins.
Yeah, that's true. They have been building it. I guess we'll see what happens.
Just take it day by day.
just to add one more thing, thinking about WWE logic, think about what happened on this past NXT. Io Shirai and Ripley, they lost a tag match, and Io was the one to eat the fall. So to contradictory, it might mean that she actually picks up the win here. Now, I also feel like the triple threat is to protect Charlotte in defeat. I don't think Charlotte's going to eat the fall here, but that's another reason why I'm going towards Io.
I agree.
All right, fair enough. Ken Terminated by Google sent in a $5 super chat. He says, do you guys think that Charlotte will lose the belt and come back to the friction angle with Bayley and Sasha? Flair's overexposure is too much. I don't think she's going to be on SmackDown. Jeff, what do you think?
I think SmackDown needs fresh faces, not rehash. And Charlotte's not a rehash. I'm just, I think Raw needs more on SmackDown does personally.
All right, and Adrian sent in a $5 super chat. Says, did you forget to read my earlier super chat, double A, Ron? I don't think so, but I'll go back and look. If I missed it, I'll go ahead and read it.
I'm going to read I think you did.
And Curtis Butler
Now, while he looks for that, I'll just say this. It would not surprise me if they do recreate Charlotte Flair versus Asuka on Monday Night Raw, because she did beat her previously with a SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to build eventually towards Charlotte and Asuka for the championship. All right, let's move on here to our main event of the evening for the NXT World Championship. Adam Cole, baby, versus the Velveteen Dream. And apparently this is going to be held in a special location. Possibly we're going to have some kind of parking lot brawl. There was a report that a bunch of cars pulled up around the area where they were fighting, very similar to what John Cena and Eddie Guerrero did back in the day with their parking lot brawl. Should be an interesting match. The question is, though, will Adam Cole's record-breaking NXT World Title run come to an end? Let's see here. Johnny Boy with a $2 super chat says, excited for the show, hoping for a vintage set. I agree on that. They need to have the house set up there, the in-your-house entrance ramp and all that stuff. I think they need to have that. And it's too bad they're not actually doing the match in somebody's house. Like, that would be a nice touch for the in-your-house pay-per-view. But unfortunately, they're not.
Wait,
there you go.
Could they do it in? Could they do it in Adam Cole's house and have Britt Baker make a cameo? Would that be possible? Could we do that?
Anything's possible. Never say never, right?
Why not? Just let John Moxley out backstage.
Yeah, exactly.
No DQ Virtue just sent in a $2 super chat. Says, NXT, NXT, NXT. This is awesome. So Virtue making fun of the NXT universe as only Virtue can. And
it's been stellar, so let him do it by all means.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith Johnson with a $5 super chat says, if Dream doesn't win the title, it'll be a disappointment. What's the purpose of him remaining in NXT? How could NXT squander a gimmick like that? All right, so Jeff, let's start with you on this one. Do you think it's time for Velveteen Dream to finally become NXT World Champion?
Yes, I do. I feel that it was time the last time, and it didn't happen. So if it doesn't happen now, it's never going to happen, and the Dream becomes a nightmare for Patrick Clark. So simple as that. So either he walks out, which I feel is going to happen, or it's the end of his NXT run, and I don't know what they're going to do with the character or the man.
All right. I did find Adrian's super chat, so my apologies, Adrian. He says, evening, men. I'm not feeling wrestling anymore during this pandemic. The novelty of no crowd has worn off. Yeah, I mean, it's been tough at times, but at least they got something, right, with the PC people and the crew in AEW.
You know what? I will take a stand real quick here and say I completely disagree with that. I'm taking wrestling on in my heart and my mind more than ever. Of course, my damn signal screwed up when I tried to make a good point.
We hear you.
My desire to stay inside has increased exponentially, and wrestling's right there. So I'm good.
I mean, Noah, your thoughts on what Adrian said, and also, do you think it's going to be Dream's time to win the title?
As far as what Adrian says, I always appreciate, and I feel like the wrestlers, it helps them too when they have their organic crowd feel. Mad respect to the performers and NXT wrestlers that have been really, I think, uplifting the mood and the whole entire vibe for many people of WWE. But yeah, I mean, I've been home the last 68 days watching wrestling still nonstop, empty arena shows and that. So that really hasn't changed me. Apparently, they've been standing for like 10 hours too, only sitting when they're not being recorded. So, yeesh. As far as this match, I don't know, honestly, because I'm thinking about what could be the next direction with NXT. Who will lead NXT? Who will go after the champion? If you have Velveteen Dream as champion, I don't see them thrusting Johnny Gargano after him while he's North American champion. And I honestly don't see who they could put after Velveteen Dream because I don't see them doing Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole again. Adam Cole at the top for 1 year, though, and it's been questionable whether or not he will renew his contract. Will he stay in NXT? Because we don't know if he wants to go to the other rosters. If he does get moved, will the rest of the Spirit Era go with him? But something in me feels like he still has one big title match left. And it goes back to what I said earlier about Keith Lee finally moving up. If they don't move Keith Lee up to Raw or SmackDown, I see him challenging for the NXT title next. And that's why I'm saying Adam Cole retains. Baby.
Wow.
Interesting. Well, I think the fact that Cole's contract is coming up soon and he's been champion for a while, and I don't see Dream going to the main roster right away because, again, his age. I think it would be better for him to have a run with the NXT title for a while before going to the main roster. I still think it's too soon for the main roster. So I'm going to go with Velveteen Dream to win the title here. I think that if there was going to be backlash for the pictures that were leaked on Instagram and social media, I think that WWE would not have done this match in the first place. So I think Dream's going to win. I think he's going to be the new champion, and maybe he'll fight with a heel Finn Balor or somebody else that's being built up as a top heel in NXT. Karrion Kross could be an eventual challenger for him. So I gotta go with Dream to win the title here because of all the top guys right now that I think should stay in NXT for a bit. I think Dream, there's no rush on him. Whoa, Jeff's getting blown away by the wind. Anyways, I'm going with Dream. TJS, what are your thoughts?
Yep, I have to agree with you. I think that Velveteen Dream is going to win. How is he? He's 22 or 23, right? He's around my age. So if he was in NXT for 10 years, that would make him 33 when he goes to the main roster. That's crazy. We have guys on the main roster now, like Bobby Lashley, that are like 40, and Dream just has so much potential. So I think he's going to pick up the win. And I think that Finn Balor is his next challenger, or his first challenger, I should say. We were supposed to have that match a while ago, but then the mystery attacker angle happened. So you can have Balor say, I never got my match. I want it. Give me the NXT title. They could have their match. And I think that would be a hell of a match. Two very polar opposite personalities there, and two very skilled in-ring competitors. So I have to go with Dream. And I could see maybe Adam Cole taking a little hiatus or something for a little bit. I know he hasn't really been on actually competing for a little bit, and Kyle O'Reilly's in Canada, so maybe we'll just see UE off TV for a bit, and then they can make a debut on the main roster after SummerSlam or something.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I like that prediction. All right, guys, great predictions here overall. Jeff, any final thoughts?
Well, I was saying, keep in mind, the UE first really debuted and came into their own NXT at SummerSlam weekend. So maybe the UE loses here, and they come up the main roster at SummerSlam.
Hey, could happen.
I like it.
Yeah, and I think
McIntyre.
And again, the Undisputed Era, they've really done all there is to do. They've been around for several years, so why not give them some time off and bring them all back together when things get back to normal? If Cole signs a new contract, I'd like to see it. So yeah, I'm going with Dream. All right, guys. So that'll wrap it up for our predictions. We got 5 matches. We may get one more. Who knows? But, I mean, typically there's 5 matches. They did do 6 for Portland. TJS?
I was just going to say, I'm so upset they don't put the Drake Maverick versus El Hijo del Fantasma match on here, because that Drake Maverick storyline has been muddy, and it really sucks that they don't have a crowd for that, because, wow, that would just be insane. I wish it was on the TakeOver card.
I agree, man. That would have been great. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and do our wrap-up plugs. We'll start with the Simple Man, Noah Foster.
Okay. It was a pleasure, gentlemen. Good luck to you all. People, I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. So follow me on Twitter, nodq.com/Noah, Instagram, and Foster1916, youtube.com/user/Noah Foster210 is my YouTube channel. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say. Simple as that. And join the NoDQ Galaxy Predictions League. It's all over social media and nodq.com. Good luck to the current ranking leader, the analyst, Michael Wayne.
All right.
TJS, take it away.
TJS.
Yes, sir. At official TJS on Twitter, nodq.com/TJS for my Facebook page, nodq.com/merch, Jeff Meacham Network, Greg Cherry Brand. They got good stuff going on, guys. Check it out. It gets me through the day when I'm working. I like to just put that stuff on, and it really helps me concentrate. So check it out. Support NoDQ, like Noah always says, and stay positive, everyone. Jeff?
Other supervisors, I help him concentrate. So if he gets fired, it's not Jeff Meacham's fault. I am a helper, not an enabler. Damn it. So all right. Jeff Meacham Network on Anchor, on Spotify and Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube.com/Jeff Meacham. The shows will be up the rest of the week. I wasn't supposed to be live at all this week. I was kind of hoping I'd have a week off, but didn't work out that way. But sorry. Tomorrow, here we go. Hi. Tomorrow, Rewind. Greg and I will be watching the very first episode of Impact on FSN from 2004. And Friday on Dads, JJ and I will be reviewing our top 10 movie franchises. And that's all I got. Aaron?
All right.
Hold it out, brother.
Adrian sent in a $3 super chat, says Finn Balor to cost Dream is his prediction. Well, if it is like what I think it might be, a parking lot brawl, you could theoretically see somebody like Balor interfere, but we'll see. NXT is this Sunday on the WWE Network. Make sure you check it out. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. I will be doing the live play-by-play. Check out the other videos on the channel. Follow everybody. Show them some love and support. And everybody out there, love each other. Be safe. Take care of yourself. It's a crazy world, so navigate it the best way possible. Be smart. Be kind. And enjoy wrestling. Take care, everybody. We'll see you all next time.